The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin' with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holley, and Shannon Gross.
Thursday! Man, that sounds weird. Thursday! Get used to it. Welcome live. Look at Tostitos Championship Plaza. The sun even looks different this early in the morning. Looks bright and Kurt, you okay with this?
Yeah, I'll be fine. I'm just trying to wake up a little.
All right, live look at Tostitos Championship Plaza outside Ford Center at the Star, Frisco, Texas, where spring is here. 65 degrees, the high today, gentlemen. 78 degrees. And low tonight is 59.
Good day to be out of the office.
Yeah, it's true. He is Shannon. That is Nate. This is Kurt in the back. It's Chris Beam keeping us live and on air. I am back from the trailer parks.
Let's go.
Zaddy Holly.
Let's go.
Together we make Hanging with the Boys, the sports talk equivalent of Braille. People feel us when we speak.
Yes, sir.
Right. Brought to you each and every day by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
Yes, sir.
Man, we got a lot to talk about. There has been so much said and done over the last week. Like, we need like 2 hours. But we will be on Thursdays now at 9 o'clock in the morning. We had to shift. Put the F in there.
Jimmy says he's back in the fold
Our-
and
our-
consulting with Jerry.
our schedule.
Good thing, right?
So-
Parsons has some things to
Okay,
say.
Nate's got his backpack on. He's reading ahead of the show.
Ready to go.
So you started it. Let's first off, how are you guys doing? It's been a while since we've all been back together, a couple weeks.
Good.
Has it been?
Danny White said Dak is doing good enough to win a Super Bowl. Those around him haven't. Let me take my backpack.
Yeah, you need to participate today. Let's
I want to hear what Jesse got to say on this. Shannon, excuse me.
Okay.
Kurt, excuse me. Jesse, I'm going to read it again. Danny White said Dak is doing a good enough job to win a Super Bowl. Those around him haven't. Agree? Or you don't want to speak on it?
No, we're going to speak on it. We're going to speak on it.
wait a minute. You asking Jesse if he don't want to
Speak on something.
I think how long have we been doing this show? Somebody asked me this the
5
other
years?
day.
4 years?
We've been together.
It was me.
I know. I didn't know if you wanted me to say that. We've been together, what, 4 or 5?
Yeah, I think
This
it's
group?
And we did it a year or two
before
without.
COVID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it before
For COVID, yeah.
Yeah.
So we did. So that was 19, right?
But yeah.
So 5 years, and then we did it a year or two
Without me.
before.
Yeah.
We've been around about
That
7
was
years.
a boring show.
Say what?
No, what happened?
Oh, no, it wasn't. That's why they went and got you to slow it down. I used to be on Kurt hard. No, Kurt, listen to me or you're not listening. Well, we better go get Jesse to kind of eat this
If you got me to slow it down, that's the wrong direction y'all went in.
So in the 4+ years that you've been on the show, I think I've heard you not want to talk about one thing, and I don't even remember what that was. And you're
Yeah.
just like I'm good.
I probably got in trouble.
Once
for it.
again,
It's probably when
Danny
the phone
White
call
say
that I
that Dak is doing good enough to win a Super Bowl.
So here's we good. Everybody's good.
We good.
Wait,
My
are you good, Kurt?
Yeah, we good. I'm good. I'm ready to
I'm
go.
good.
You
Let's
got
go.
your final installment at the dentist today.
Yes, today my final deep cleaning. I had to postpone it last week, but I'm going this afternoon. So
Let's go.
My teeth, they
We
need to be
pressured
cleaned
you.
so bad. They
pressured you.
They have to numb me to clean my teeth. That's how bad it is.
I've been there, done that.
Not fun, but yeah, we're good.
Long time
All right,
ago.
so let's get into this. So Danny White, let's give it a little bit of a backstory. Danny White was in town. They were doing a Davey O'Brien Award, which Jaden Daniels of LSU won. That's the top award for quarterbacks in college football. So, of course, when you have Danny White in the room, you ask questions. Danny White also has a book that he'll be selling this summer. So we'll hear more of Danny White. But here's the thing. There is a brotherhood, right?
Okay.
There's a brotherhood.
Yeah.
Offensive linemen,
Right.
you, in essence, protect the brotherhood of offensive linemen. Receivers, we protect he's a diva, that's a diva. And I'm like, hold on now. We protect the brotherhood. And quarterbacks do the same thing, right? Quarterbacks look at it and go, you know what, we're kind of thrusted into this position of leadership, whether we want it or not. Whether we want to be the leader or not, because we have the most important position on the football field, it is thrusted upon us to be that. And so I hear Danny White make these comments, and he made a couple of comments, and some that I even thought to myself. He said, Dak should be the last one on this team to change anything. And I thought to myself, woof, that's a bold statement. Because last time I checked, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results.
Right.
The results here under Dak Prescott, who will be going into his 9th year as the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, have been early exits in the playoffs. So there needs to be something that changes. Now, what was the comment that you said, Nate, that Danny White said?
That others haven't
Danny
performed.
White said Dak is doing good enough to win a Super Bowl. Those around him haven't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of those around him haven't. So.
And which is true.
Yeah.
Which is true. Right. But again, whether you agree or disagree, the quarterback is held at the highest of standards. I personally made a mistake a couple of weeks ago.
No way.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
No.
Believe it. Mark it down.
What's today?
Hold on.
Wait a minute. What is today?
Hold on, man. Let's get a couple of those pats off his back.
Yeah.
February 22nd, 9:07 and 32 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I bet on the NFL version.
Right.
You hear Reggie Miller talk about this back in the day about Michael Jordan. I bet against the Black Jesus of football.
Right.
I went against Patrick Mahomes. And boy, was I wrong.
Let's just clarify. Jesse did not bet. We do not condone betting.
Right.
He picked against.
I should say that. I picked against.
Don't want us to get called in the principal's office.
Yeah. I picked against Black Jesus and cleats.
But the only reason why you did that is because you planted your flag in the ground about midway through the season.
But that ain't never stopped me from changing the other time. And so to Danny White's point, I saw a quarterback elevate his game. I saw a quarterback when they said, oh, well, the old time that you've been in the playoffs, that you always played home games. And he said, okay. We'll beat Miami at home, who a lot of people thought that was going to be a high-powered offense. No problem. We'll go to Buffalo in the middle of the wintertime and beat the Josh Allens of the world. No problem. Oh, now we got to go back. We got to go to big bad Baltimore and face the nasty, physical Baltimore Ravens team. No problem. We're going to do that. And then we'll go to Vegas and we have to play the Kyle Shanahan and the Boombox Boys.
Yes, sir.
And in the second half, he said, what do you need, coach? We need plays. I'll give them to you with my legs. I'll give them to you with my feet. I'll give them to you with my arm. I'll give them to you with my brain. And he just methodically worked his way and then got the ball in overtime and said, this over. This over. Mm-hmm. And everybody knew when San Francisco kicked that field goal.
I was like, it's over.
If you didn't say it's over, you weren't watching the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, I had a difference.
I thought it was over at the coin flip.
I had a very much.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
And mine started at halftime.
Well,
when you left,
when I told these people where I was, I said, y'all still got a problem? They said, what? I said, it's called Andy Reid. Said Mahomes.
And so when Danny White says that the others need to elevate their game around Dak, sure. The Lion, he needs to have more. He needs to show up more. Right? Tank needs to show up more. Other guys need to show up more. But make no mistake about it. This is a quarterback-driven league. And if you were going to get to the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl, where he's been and won 3 times.
Forgot how many he's been to.
And where they were played and who he played against. Your quarterback,
first Super Bowl.
Your quarterback will need it is unless you got the 85 Bears or the 2000 Ravens, your quarterback will need to show up and be better than he's ever been for you to get that. And if Dak can't do that in year 9, we'll be sitting in the same spot next year. saying the same exact thing. Mike McCarthy contract was expired. Mike Zimmer. Have we found out the details of his contract? That's going to be very interesting too. Have we found out the details of his contract yet?
I think they've released that.
Okay, that's a little nugget that we just need to kind of just
see if he's in the
just
waiting in the wing.
Pay attention to that. The contract talks in that, but we'll be sitting in the same spot again next year, and we'll be saying, "Whoa,
I'm not buying in. I'm not buying in until they win a playoff game next year. I'm just letting y'all know right now.
I get what Danny's saying. Danny's protecting his group. He's protecting his brotherhood and saying, quarterbacks we get. And I mean, come on, Danny. Maybe you should have changed some things. Because last I checked, Danny, you had some playoff trouble as well. You didn't elevate your game enough in certain situations to get your team to where they need to be. So
he's on the other side of the fence now. He's just giving his opinion.
I'm just saying.
Is that a good enough?
I want to hear, man. That was great.
Is that good? Great. Now wait.
That was great.
Now
man.
it's your turn. Your guy.
What's that?
Your guy. Thank you. That was very well put.
Yeah.
The brotherhood. I like the way you said that. You protect.
Yeah,
your
he
own,
covered
right?
everybody. He
brotherhood. You're in a different brotherhood. You were in the dynasty. Protect your dynasty.
Yes.
Your guy.
Right.
Jimmy.
Yes.
Is back in the fold.
He's back in the fold and consulting with Jerry. A good thing, wrong. No, not a good thing.
Whoa.
Nah.
Why not? What's your opinion on that?
I have never liked the consultants. I don't think they're a good thing. I think as a management group, you have an owner, a GM, a head coach, his assistant, his top assistants. What do they call? Coordinators and coaches and players. Anything outside of that norm, I don't jive into it because I can't be a head coach. Say, okay, well, what does Jimmy think? Well, I hired you and gave you millions of dollars. Now, I don't do that. Now, if you say he was over scouting and he's messing with Will, that's a different thing. But consulting, and I haven't heard nobody say he's consulting and talking about the coaches and whatever. That's good in college. It's not great in pros. Yeah. I've never seen that work. I've never seen a consultant come in and change the attitude of what's going right or wrong in everyday structure of a team. I love Jimmy. I love what he did for us and how he motivated us and kept. But that come on, nah.
Yeah, I think Jimmy said that on like a Miami radio station, and to me, I'm thinking maybe this is just him and Jerry kind of shooting the bull, and then Jimmy.
Him calling him and saying, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Oh,
I think after the playoff loss, it was mentioned that they had a phone call. But outside of that, Jimmy's probably embellishing that a little bit. And,
I hope he is.
Everybody's making a bigger deal out of it.
Yeah, I think it's him and Jerry are talking. That's good. They seem to. They seem to be getting along. But I mean,
they making up for lost time.
Yeah,
that's all. They making up for.
Now, if he's, Jerry runs the show in the end here, so it may be effects. But I think in general, he's not having a huge impact.
Just think, fellas. Just think. Hey, man, you the boss of something. Somebody hires you, giving you millions. Like, hey, man, you are running my company, and after about 2 years, we making a profit, but it ain't what we think. Hey, I'm gonna go get Jess, because man, when Jess was running the company. It really was booming. Let me go get him as a consultant. Maybe he can help you. No, that's a setup to get you fired. That's a setup, because he's going to go back. What Jesse going to go back? It ain't going to never be his fault because he's the consultant. It ain't going to never be he said nothing wrong. No, man, I don't. That, to me, that's a indirect of a knife in your back. Yeah. That's what I believe.
Consultants are pigeons, right? Isn't that what the phrase is?
Yeah,
swoop in.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Swoop out.
I don't know, but consultants make a lot of money for a little bit of work.
Yeah. They do. And at consulting firms to hire your people, that's one thing. Consulting firms to direct people, that's a whole nother thing.
All right, let's take our first break. When we come back.
Oh, but before we go, let me say this. Ooh. Do you think, because Jimmy's been out of the game for 30 years.
Yes.
Is his opinions and ways relevant now?
Does it even matter? Mm-hmm. Like,
right.
Is Jimmy?
That was my thoughts on it. As the game
passed him.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
it's one thing to be an analyst. It's another thing to be.
That's why Vrabel don't have a job, and that's why New England coach don't have a job, because owners are saying, I don't think that's working these days. Exactly what you just saying.
I don't see. I think Jimmy leaves the studio in New York or California. What do they do? They Fox show at? I think in New York. I think it's in New York. They be cold. They be cold. Okay. I think it's in New York. It do be cold.
No, man, it's in L.A.
It's in L.A. Because when I used to go out there, the
Fox is in L.A.
They based in L.A.
CBS is in New York.
Yeah.
Okay. Jimmy's going back to South Florida. Jimmy ain't busting down tape.
Nah.
Jimmy in South Florida casting that rod out in the middle of somewhere, marlin fishing and.
Now, I agree.
Big game fishing.
I agree with that. I do think there's certain things that he could say, hey, this is how we built this. This is how you build a team and camaraderie and leadership and things like that.
They can pay me for that.
I think
it's easy to build a team.
Here you go. Consulting business.
It's do you want to build it?
Yeah.
The Cowboys have a problem with the structure of building. Every team that's in the playoffs, and I'm going to say it every year because it's the same old thing. Every team that's in the playoffs, the top 4 teams all have something consistent. They have a quarterback that don't turn the ball over in the playoffs. They have one or two things or both. They have dominant offensive defensive lines. It don't change. The Kansas City Chiefs went from scoring 29 points last year and 30-something the year before to down to almost 21, 22 points a game. What does that tell you? They had some dominance over there on their defense. They had some dominance. So you're going to have to get that defensive line and offensive line right. What has killed us over the last 4 years? Our quarterback has not played well. Our offensive defensive line have not played well, and especially not collectively. It ain't hard to build a team. It's can you get the players in here to get it done. Every year we talk about the cap. You know what? It's 2 forms of how you pay people. Through the draft and through free agency. We have not touched free agency in the last few years. You're going to have to find you some offensive linemen. You're going to have to find you a deep – and I heard a guy say on one of the NFL stations, one of the more respected NFL stations, said, like, you can't have enough great corners. You can't have enough great wide receivers. You definitely can't have enough great defensive linemen. The 49ers just stack up on them. The Philadelphia Eagles, even though they imploded, they just stack up on them. You can't have enough of these guys. And so it ain't hard to build. If you need some consultants, I'll tell you who to build. And you think I'm crazy, but if you're going to spend a first-round pick on an offensive or defensive lineman, you might as well spend your whole draft on them.
Well, that's a great segue because we can go to commercial and talk about we don't need Nate Newton to be a consultant. We have our very own consultant right here in the building. Micah Parsons sat down with Jerry Jones and talked about all the picks that he wants and that he needs on the defense with him. Coming up next on Hanging with the Boys. Stay right here with us. We'll be right back.
Be careful in this next segment. Tread lightly. We'll be right back.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole, made with real Hass avocados, will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouth-watering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
SeatGeek has your back no matter what kind of Cowboys fan you are. So whether you're a diehard fan or a don't really care fan, a we got 'em next time fan or we'll never win again fan, a here for the tailgate fan or a first one through the gates fan, SeatGeek not only makes buying and selling tickets easier than ever before, they made just about everything else easier too. So whether you're a here every week fan or haven't been here in years fan, SeatGeek has you covered. Download the SeatGeek app today. SeatGeek, your ticket to great Dallas Cowboys seats.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy, classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. And sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And, of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Welcome back to the second segment of Hanging with the Boys, brought to you each and every day by blockchain.com. Thank you, blockchain.com. All right, I'm going to go way off topic before we get into Micah Parsons' comments. He had a couple of them that we probably need to talk about on the show, but saw something the other day, and Jesse, this kind of connects to our show because of you. But Belichick, one of probably the best special teams player of all time, Slater, with New England retired.
Yes.
Yep. You realize Belichick coached arguably the three best players at their position on offense, defense, and special teams.
Yes.
Tom Brady, Lawrence Taylor, and Slater in New England. Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That's pretty
And had an
crazy.
Impact in who they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, and had an impact in who they were.
That's pretty wild.
It is.
So, all right.
Slater's a good dude too.
Is he?
Man.
Dude, he looks like he's like 50.
Great. He's an old soul. Like but he's a man.
He played an old soul that'll get you old.
Right.
Blow you up. Huh?
Yeah. There aren't many dudes that are like him.
Yeah.
Like the moment when I got to New England and the first time meeting him, he was like, whatever you need. Like he was such a help. And like you could tell a guy who's not like threatened by anyone or what, he just like, listen, man, like take your time. This is gonna take a little while for you to get it, like the offense and everything. And he kind of gave me insight on how Bill thinks and works. And because the first practice I ever practiced, I just got there the day before, and we went into a practice. And 7 plays in, Tom Brady's in the huddle, and he goes 16, you're in. I look around like there's another 16. There had to be another 16 out here because it ain't me. And sure enough, like I go in there and Deion Branch helps me out when I get in the huddle because I don't know what's going on. And I come back and I'm like, Slade, what? He's like, man, that's Bill. He wants to see how you're going to react in pressure situations. Just you're all right, you're fine. Just always pay attention because this can happen at any point in time. So just make sure if you're supposed to do something or be somewhere, just do it. So, man, shout out to Matthew Slater, man. He's a great dude.
Very cool. All right. Mr. Parsons had a couple of comments. He's been in the news ever since the season ended for one reason or another. So
he likes that media, doesn't he?
He does. That's I think a blessing and a curse.
Did you know Jonathan Hankins has a podcast now?
What?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either. Interesting.
And when our backup centers, Hutchinson or whoever,
I don't know.
Everybody got a podcast.
Does now,
Just hook it up, man. Everybody can't be good, but everybody can have one.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, look at us. We're doing this. We just talked about it for 5 years together. So
great.
Anybody can.
We great.
All right. So Micah came out, I guess, this week, Monday, maybe.
During the
All-Star weekend.
Yeah, All-Star weekend.
All-Star weekend.
Which, by the way,
NBA All-Star weekend.
I had no idea he could ball like that.
What type of ball?
Basketball.
Yeah, that's why we went home in the first round, so we can play basketball.
So anyway, he said that he talked to Mr. Jones about Kurt. What exactly was it?
Well,
I don't want to miss.
Sound like they had a long conversation through. They sat together in his suite and they had a long conversation, and part of that was type of players he wants around him and culture he wants to create and that kind of thing. So I found it kind of interesting that one is that kind of normal that your owner / GM talks to your top players, kind of find out what they want, and
it is.
And secondly, how does it go with his teammates? How do they see that?
Why did everybody look at me?
Now, Micah Irvin used to talk to Jerry. Troy used to talk to Jerry. That's normal.
Is it?
You know, what are you looking at? You know, owner, GM, I asked that question. What are you looking at? I went out with a couple of GMs and owners, you know, but they kind of got rid of me quick because I was like, I have no input. I don't want no input on how you run your team. I would tell them, no. I know you're not going to listen to me. I know you want me just be throwing some ideas out there, how I think or where I come from. I went to the Panthers from the Cowboys, you know, so they wanted some insight. I was like, nah, I don't know. And so I wasn't that guy. Mm-hmm. But guys that are great players that have shown great success in this league that you may have to deal with for a lot of years, you want their input. You want to know what they're thinking. And hopefully they will be truthful about it. For me, when I heard this and read this earlier, I just want Mr. Parsons to mature. You saying a lot, you want a lot, but you got to be able to give your heart and soul to the team that you're expecting a lot from. Are you all the way sold in to not only the team, but the system that the team run? Are you sold in to the point where you'll do whatever it takes to win games? So that is my question. I mean, you do what you want, and you say what you want, and you tell the man what you want, but are you totally bought in to the team and its system? Now, I mean, but he has to mature just a little bit more. I mean, I had to go through it. Jesse came in probably a little bit more mature than most because he knew his situation a little bit quicker than most. But you got to grow up before you start telling the man what you want.
I like what he's saying, I guess. You know, he wants to change the culture, and, you know, he's talked about different players here and there. But I worry that is this something we should all be hearing, you know, publicly.
Jesse, just wait. Here, I'll jump in before Jesse jumps in. I don't mind. Like, I think that happens a lot. Like, I hope it happens a lot. Like, I hope they're talking to Dak about, you know, his contract's coming up, and everybody's talking about, hey, they're locked in. Like, they have to re-sign Dak, and I hope they're talking about, like, hey, what's going to help us win? What's going to help you elevate your game? I hope they're doing that, you know, with your key players. The thing that caught me off guard was he also said that when DeMarcus Lawrence said the team was burned out or they were tired or whatever at the end of the season, you can't say that publicly, and that's part of the culture that needs to change. Is that basically you calling out your teammate?
That's what I saw. It's I kind of like what he's saying, but
that's your leader on the defense that you're calling out. So now in that locker room, if I'm DeMarcus Lawrence, am I like, hey, look, young fella, wait a minute, you hold up, like this. What does that do in the locker room when you start airing all this stuff out? Like you said, saying it. I mean, he said you don't say that publicly, and then he comes out and he says something publicly, right? Like, hey, go have this conversation behind closed doors. And you know, I don't know. That's what worries me. Is this becoming a rift where, hey, you're airing out all your laundry right now?
And that's my concern. Mm. We talk a lot about leadership in football. And if Micah can take anything from Dak, it's the leadership part. And I'm never going to hate or put a stop to anybody going out there making their money, doing their thing. But what Micah has to realize is that there is a fine line of keeping it real and not saying nothing at all. Because sometimes the best answer for you is no answer. Mm. Like when you think that you have to be the realest person in the room and give the realest answers about situations, it's different from when we do it. We don't have a locker room that we have to go back to. There is no teammates that we have to go back to and work this thing out with and get into a foxhole with. When you come out publicly and you say, I had a conversation with Jerry Jones, and I told him, now, this is not my words. This is not me taking a shot. This is his words. And he says, I told Jay or Mr. Jones or whatever he called him in that interview, he said, we need some bigger guys in the middle. We need some 330-pound guys in the middle and all this kind of stuff. If I'm Ozzie Smith, I'm going, oh, homeboy, like I thought you and I were. If I'm Hankins, I go, man, I stepped on the scale this morning. I was 330 this morning. And I say that because what we know is in order to add to a roster,
you got to take away from a roster.
You got to take away from a roster.
Mm-hmm.
So when you publicly come out and say, now, if this was a private conversation, fine. But when you publicly come out and say this, you've now told the world that, and if it's, okay, there's a pecking order, right? Okay, cool. Mozzie was a first-round pick, right? So maybe he has another year, right, to kind of give a chance for development. Cool. Well, if Mike is saying that he needs more guys in the interior, that means when I add another guy on top of that, whether it be a high-paying free agent or another high draft pick, well, that pushes everyone down a notch. So that means the new guy comes in and it's Mozzie under that. And so now what happens to Neville Gallimore? What happens to those other guys that are under him? Well, you only get 53 spots. Now those guys are pushed out. Mm-hmm. And so that's the trickle-down effect I don't think Micah at times fully grasp when you come out and you say these things. That there's guys in that locker room that you go back to and you go, damn, did you just try to give my job away? Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? Right. Tell him how you really feel. And that's my only thing. It's I don't have a problem with Micah having his podcast and whatever, but it's when you say things that ultimately affect the guys that you, because now let's say that they don't get rid of or they do bring in another guy, right? Now, how am I looking at you as a teammate? And you know this, Nate. There's levels to teammates, right? There's levels to, you know what, this guy, I don't really like him, I don't really fool with him, so I'm gonna just do my job. And then there's, you know what, he's kind of pretty cool, so I'm gonna go the extra mile.
Right.
And then there's the guys you like, bro, I'm in the foxhole with you. Like, I'm really willing to go where you go.
That's right.
And those things, it's a very fragile thing that can happen. You're talking about you're dealing with a bunch of dudes and with egos and fragile egos and can be sensitive at times. So when you come out and you publicly say, this is what I said to the owner, and you're very specific in the things that you said and the players that you said, I don't know how you take that as a player that you're saying, well, I need more guys at this position. Well, what do the guys at that position now have to say to Micah? That's my only gripe, is saying that when you say things, you have to be mindful, whether they're true or not. There's certain things that's not for public consumption. Just because you get on a podcast, that doesn't mean you have to say those things. You could have simply said to Stephen A. Smith, what do you think you guys need? Man, you know what? Shoot, I really got to focus on Micah and get Micah ready to go for another year. That's why we got the great Will McClay and all those guys in the scouting department. And, we just signed Coach Zimmer. Those guys got to figure that out. I'll be ready. Mm-hmm. I'll be ready. And whoever we bring in, we're going to make this thing work. Yes, our owner said that we're gonna dive into free agency, and yes, these things are gonna happen. So whatever they do, I'm gonna be ready, and I'm gonna be the leader of that this defense needs to help change the culture. But when you call Tank out, and whether Tank was wrong or right in what he said, but when you call him out, and now you call other guys out specifically, and guys that you want to kind of replace those positions with, now what's gonna happen in the locker room is, you can't have a bad day, bro. Because guys going to look at you now and go, you wanted to replace me?
Where were you at?
Where were you at today?
Right. Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, those are the type of petty things that happen in the locker room. And this whole, as the world turns, soap opera that we've seen this offseason with the Cowboys, boy, it can happen. It can happen like that. And let you string together a couple losses, those fingers really start getting pointed, because now what are we going to go back and say? We're going to go back and we're going to look at these reports when you said in the offseason, well, this guy and that guy and that guy and that guy. And now the heat's on them and the heat's on y'all. And all because you said a certain thing.
And that's a great point because, and I'm not speaking or thinking for Micah, but my interpretation of that is he got asked a question, and we as the media always say, we're tired of these canned answers and these guarded answers. Well, why don't guys just say what they think? Well, he said what he thought, right? Yeah. Not thinking, great point, because I didn't think of it like this. By saying you need to add this, you're saying we don't currently have this. Right. And then those are real people and humans.
It's a priority, man.
And your teammates, right?
It's a priority. And I know I'm going to make a lot of people mad, which I really don't care. I don't play anymore, so I don't care. It's a priority. And the team is first, second, and third. And then it's everybody else. And that's what I respected about Michael Irvin. That's what I respected about Troy. That's what I respect about. I've heard my teammates, Emmett, Mike, and Troy, say bad things. Not about me and but it was never publicly. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'll add on to what Jesse said. All you had to say was, man, we really got to, starting with me, we really got to concentrate on stopping the run. That has been our Achilles heel. Well, you've not said anything bad about nobody. Right. But you know who you're addressing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
You're not saying, you're not pointing fingers.
Yeah. So, like Jesse said, 1 or 2 bad losses, and all of a sudden, if Hankins wanted to be that guy, which he's not, he'd be like, man, you know what? I'm going for me some sacks too. And so now, indirectly, we know who he's talking about. Because we know over there, number 11 ain't staying in his lane. If he see an opening, he's taking the opening, even though he know the quarterback gonna sprint out. If he miss, he know the quarterback gonna sprint out, and everybody gonna be looking at it. But that's number 11. So I tell people, you the priority, and that's what Jimmy taught us. And maybe being a consultant, he'll probably come in and give that speech. No, but some kids be like, man, when I leave here, I'm going to do my thing. You talking about the team you want. I'm going to do my thing.
And is this the new NFL? Is this
the new NBA?
Everybody's got a podcast. Everybody wants to give their opinion. Everybody wants to get clicks.
It is, but it ain't.
It shouldn't be.
It is, but it ain't.
In a team sport,
it's what your coach allow. It's what your ownership allow. And you can set the tone.
But the guys that don't allow that kind of stuff are slowly getting pushed out of the league.
Yes,
right?
they are.
So is this the new – how do you control this? Or is this just going to be the way it is?
No, you can't control it, right, as you evolve with it. But again, it's having those big boy conversations of saying, hey, I don't mind you having your podcast, but never miss the fact that you got to come back into this locker room and be with these guys.
Because that's going to be awkward, right? At training camp,
it has
they start doing OTAs and they show up, and the first time they make eye contact, it's going to be like, bruh.
No.
What are you doing?
For some guys,
you don't think about 90s guys.
But no. But
think about 2024.
But some guys,
these dudes will stop following you. You say something wrong.
Okay.
I'm not following the team anymore.
This guy don't lie. And he's always said things that was truthful in a lot of ways people didn't listen to. And he didn't care because it was T.O. T.O. kind of just did his thing, said, and a lot of players would have said, oh, T.O. said some crazy stuff. And then he wasn't lying, bro. It just ain't nobody going to pay attention to it. Well, now, Micah has not said anything that's a lie. But like Jesse said, and I believe, you can't do that to your guys in the locker room. But has he said a lie? No, he's not said a lie. We don't have run defenders. But you're a part of that problem why we don't have run defenders, because you're good enough to be a run defender, but you choose not to. But you call out Tank because Tank said, I don't know what Tank was on that morning or what he had missed to say he was burnt out. I mean, here you are in the playoffs and you burnt out. So not a good thing to say. But I'm with Jesse 100%. How can you go back to the locker room unless you that guy? I know T.O. just could go. He went in 3 or 4 locker rooms. I'm saying what I got to say, and I don't care. Maybe.
But yeah, but when Teo went out on the field, it was the productivity was always there.
Yeah. That is the big difference.
In the big moments.
In the big moments, yes, sir. I agree with you. I ain't gonna. It's certain things you cannot ever forget. The priority is number one, the team. Number two, the team. Number three, and if you always think that way, you will get to that point where you can deflect.
Well, and that's the biggest problem. And it's not just Micah. That's the biggest problem with the Dallas Cowboys. The priority 1 and 2 and 3 ain't the team.
Right.
We've said it many, many times before. It's 53 brands. And everybody's trying to sell themselves and their brand and their marketing space and all that kind of stuff. And then it's the team. It's let me get mine off. And this is not, just let me say this is not a shot at Micah. This is not targeted at Micah.
This is the whole team.
This is the whole team.
Yes.
This is the culture. When we talk about changing the culture, this is it. That's the biggest thing is that we have 53 individual brands that put themselves and their brands before the team.
There's no way you can change that.
You can't.
The box is open, right?
Once Marbell stopped being who she was, and Apple and all these other guys start being who they was.
Everybody got their own broadcast channel.
Yes, sir. Like Jesse called us the other day, hey, fellas, we need to make an adjustment. We're a team. We made the adjustment. But if man, we ain't doing this for Jess. But bruh, people don't think that's simple. We knew that we had to find a way so we can have our teammate on the team. A lot of these dudes be like, man, I need to get paid.
You know what? We got to take a break. I would go ahead and say the Cowboys are way ahead of their time by decades because they've had individual brands for years.
Yes.
And now the league's finally catching up to them, and everybody else is starting to get their individual brands. So they were pioneers.
Yeah, but our brands talk a whole lot louder than other brands.
All right, and that is As the World Turns. We will be right back for the final 2 minutes of the show on Hangin' with the Boys.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy, classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. And sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And, of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at Wingstop.com.
SeatGeek has your back no matter what kind of Cowboys fan you are. So whether you're a diehard fan or a don't really care fan, a we got 'em next time fan or we'll never win again fan, a here for the tailgate fan or a first one through the gates fan, SeatGeek not only makes buying and selling tickets easier than ever before, they made just about everything else easier too. So whether you're a here every week fan or haven't been here in years fan, SeatGeek has you covered. Download the SeatGeek app today. SeatGeek, your ticket to great Dallas Cowboys seats.
James Wright here, your 2022 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year. You know how much I love my Cowboys, and I am thrilled to be talking to you about the 2023 Fan of the Year award presented by Captain Morgan. We're looking for the ultimate Cowboys fan to spice up the game. That means you eat, sleep, and breathe the Dallas Cowboys. If that's you, or if you know someone like me, then go to DallasCowboys.com/fan of the year, and you could win tickets to Super Bowl 58 and so much more. Enter today.
Back to Hangin' with the Boys.
Welcome back to the final 32 seconds of the show. Sorry, we went a little long that last segment. We were on a heater. Last segment brought to you each and every day by Jigsaw, the official dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And before we get out of here, fellas.
Can I just quickly say this?
Yes.
This is literally quickly.
Okay.
I do not have a personal vendetta against Micah Parsons.
or Dak or anybody.
Or anybody. But
for real?
We are a show that talks about Cowboys topics.
Mm-hmm.
When a Cowboy, and I do other shows that are Cowboy-related shows. So when a Cowboy, whether Danny White, do I have a personal vendetta against Danny White now? No. Danny White is a former Cowboy. He makes a comment, we discuss it. Micah makes a comment, we discuss it. It just feels like I don't have a personal vendetta against Micah.
Jimmy made a comment.
Jimmy
discussed it.
We discussed it. I don't have a problem with Micah.
And we're not doing our jobs if things make the news and comments are made, and especially if it's national newsworthy, right? And we don't talk about it. So we need to talk about these things.
Yeah,
right?
I don't. There is no personal thing that I have stored up in me. I've said on this show, go back and find it, in the beginning of the year, I called him the greatest. I called him the best defensive player in the league in September. Now, if I had a personal vendetta against him.
You also said nobody was going to beat the 49ers.
I said healthy. I said healthy 49ers. They lost Drew Graylaw and no, let me stop. Let me stop making excuses. But yeah, I don't have a personal. I've never said it.
I got a personal vendetta.
Against who?
Against the Cowboys for not hiring Andy Reid.
Jeez. Oh my God. Well, Jesse, we on this show, I won't say we because Kurt and Nate may have other opinions. I don't think you have a personal.
Bro, I know you don't. I know you don't because if a guy is doing his job and going beyond,
I praise him.
You praise him to death.
And that's the thing is like we conveniently in this day and age now will just bypass all the other stuff. Even in the viral thing that happened a couple months ago, the first minute of the video, I'm saying just how great of a player he is, like an individual player. So I don't have a personal thing against Micah. I think he's a great player. There's room for improvement. That's just where I stand. I said the same thing.
Man.
I said, remember a couple years ago, I said about Dak. I was like, he's elite. I was like, whoa.
Dak got me.
I was like,
Dak got me.
I said, man, I don't know about elite. So it's
Dak
just
got me, boy.
When I call it like I see it. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Dak, Dak, all you gotta do is not throw interceptions. I promise you will be at every game in the playoffs. Do not throw those interceptions.
This upcoming year gonna be a big year for Dak, man.
Oh man, you cannot.
This schedule's gonna be this is if Dak gonna win his MVP, it's gonna be this upcoming year,
bro. If
he can get through this gauntlet of a schedule and get this team, number 1 seed or a number 2 seed, and
that's a whole show in and of itself. Is this upcoming year for Dak?
I can't wait till those dates come out.
And the schedule and just the implications of we could do a whole
we could really find out how much the Cowboys believe in him with this contract situation.
Yeah.
So
the Cowboys sold. They in.
Got to be, right?
They in. I'm gonna tell you who gonna have a problem.
Who?
Gonna be Jesse. Jesse gonna have a problem
with what? The contract?
Because he a hater, man.
Tune in next Thursday, 9:00 a.m. to hate. Good stuff, fellas. Good seeing y'all.
New time. We got a new time. It's 9:00.
9 a.m. on Thursdays up until training camp.
Jesse want to go at 3:30. He blew me. I'm like, oh, no.
That's nap time for Nate. Nate's got to get his nap in.
I like Jesse. He killed me almost. Like 3:30.
Chris, thanks for keeping us on the air. Jazz, thanks for keeping Chris company. What's my man's name?
Jose. I mean, isn't that Jose?
Josh.
Jesse. My bad, brother. I'm sorry.
Y'all need to stop with that old hate stuff on Jess for giving y'all truth. If y'all don't want truth, man, it's the wrong show.
That's right.
Believe that, bro. We
the
give
voice
you
of reason.
This 2024, folks don't want truth. They don't. They don't.
Good seeing you this morning, Miss K.
Yeah.
Saw K
lady with the green hair back there.
Excited about that.
Yeah. All right. We will be back Thursdays. Get up early with us. If not, just catch it on demand like everybody else. But we'll be here 9:00 Thursday mornings, hanging with the boys.
We out.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?